What's up, guys? I'm Andrew, and I'm just deciding I'm going to start putting some content on YouTube. I'm constantly getting into projects, trying to help other people out, fixing my own stuff. You want to have fun, and you don't have funds to pay other people to do it. You like getting your hands dirty. You just dive in and try it yourself. Make mistakes, figure them out, and I use YouTube constantly. I enjoy the content. I get a lot of good information, some bad information. Sometimes you can't find anything at all. And sometimes the information you get isn't exactly what you needed, but it gets you in the right path. And hopefully if I can add my input, a little creativity, I can help other people out. I don't know how good this is going to be. It could be the worst video you've ever seen. It's the first one. It might be the last. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to bring me. I feel awkward talking to a camera right now with my neighbors out front that can see me. Time's limited. I bought this tripod at Walmart 4 days ago and still haven't been able to get to this video. I have
a baby monitor back there.
That's my 6-month-old napping. He likes to wake up at any given time and force me to stop what I'm doing and go up there and tend to him. I also have a 2-year-old, so that's just, videos might be few and far between, but hopefully they help out. Hopefully they're interesting. Maybe they can be a little funny. I don't know where it goes. What I am working on today. So I recently acquired 2006 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. Pretty excited about it. It's a 5-speed manual, 4-wheel drive. I thought the only way I was going to get a modern truck for the longest time was to get a diesel manual. Manual was my main thing I want. I live in Jersey. We need 4-wheel drive too. You don't get a pickup truck without 4-wheel drive. So to find those criteria is tough. Getting financed for anything over a decade old with over 120,000 miles is tough. There's a big bro tax on those diesels, so you basically have to come up with the money yourself. There's my son. We'll give him a minute, see if he finds a binky himself. So anyway, this 2500 I got. Guys, double, triple check the quality of the vehicle before you buy it. I went under it to try and fix an issue yesterday and saw underneath the plastic fender flares, the body's rusted through. I'm a little sick to my stomach. I paid a good bro tax on that truck because of supply and demand, but you know what? Maybe it'll create content later. I'm gonna dive into it, try and fix it, maybe pull the bed off, clean up the rust as best I can, probably undercoat it. I'm sure I'm gonna do that, but I don't know if I'm gonna wind up buying a new bed. I don't know what direction I'm gonna go. Anyway, I've rambled a lot here. I don't have any practice at this, and I am socially awkward. So back to what I was saying. The front speakers in this truck did not work at all when I got it. My passenger window, my wife gave me the look. It was real stiff to roll up, and their manual windows were coming from a GMC. It was a 99, but it had all the electronics, bells and whistles, and we're paying a good bit of money for this new truck for us. And we're taking a step back in her eyes. So I said, let me fix this window and then I'll check the speaker at the same time, just to, make the wife happy and comfortable too. The speakers were sending voltage. I could see the voltage going up and down as I turned the volume up and down. So I took the speaker apart and saw that they were just shredded to pieces. So I just rushed out between my kids napping. Didn't have much time, went to Pep Boys to see if I could get a compatible pair of speakers. $35. Found a pair of speakers, they said they work fine. I get them home. They're flush mount speakers. I guess that means you're gonna put them on a flat surface, cut a hole yourself, mount them, put the cover plate it comes with on. But in our case, that would make my truck door look hideous. So I found a way to mount it in factory location. I don't know if the other brand of speakers are similar. These are Kenwoods. Here's what the cover plate looks like. So I'm just gonna pull apart that door and make a little video here showing you guys. Very simple. It's very rudimentary. Anybody can do this. How to put one of these flush mount speakers. I don't know if the other brands are set up the same, but I assume it could help across different brands. We're gonna get this in the door in a factory location without hacking stuff apart, because if you don't have to hack stuff apart, don't hack it apart. Having really cool aftermarket stuff is awesome. Typically you gotta spend a ton of money to make it right and make it nice. In most occasions, the OEM fit and finish is gonna be your nicest route, aside from foggy lights, which I'll be changing soon. They're on order. So let me get this truck moved up here and let's get started. I was trying to line that up so that the door would be in some light for you guys to see. Totally forgot that I was doing the driver door, not the passenger door. I'm using bolts from a Japanese off-road motorcycle kit because that's what I have. My favorite hobby is dirt biking. I currently am recovering from knee surgery from it. There is a RM 125 I built the ground up. If you're interested in seeing a walk around on that, let me know. There's LTR 450 that I just acquired the beginning of this summer for the family, and here is my buddy's bike. I just redid the fork seals and bushings on it. So back to this. I'll let you know what kind of hardware I used. I put these bolts in a divider, so I don't exactly know what size they are. Let's see. These are just some nylon locking nuts. Gotta let this focus. $6mm bolt. The thread length approximately 12mm. That worked perfect for these. I did have to do a little drilling. I'll show you in a few minutes. Here's another recent toy we got. There is a prop slip on that, and the trim stopped operating upward. I'm almost positive it's the electric motor, but you guys should be seeing a video on that soon too. Here's the speakers I got. Supposed to be flush mount. So I want to note, there's probably 1,000 videos on how to take door panels off out there, so I'm not going to get into that. I'll probably fast forward to this. I also don't know what I'm going to edit this on yet. The phone, the computer, I downloaded some free software on the phone, but I've honestly no clue what I'm doing, so bear with me. Always got to have some deodorant on hand. Don't let it melt in the summer. gum too, especially wearing a mask. I'm trying my hardest not to use profanity here, but yeah, you wear a mask outside all day and your breath backs up in your face. In stores, I mean. I'll note some of the other techniques I'm using. There's videos on there about soldering, videos on there about metering electrical. It's not what I'm going for here. I want to show you guys how to put that speaker in this location without hacking this up. Potential future plan for this truck as well, I might note, if you're interested, I have a line from a buddy at work on a 1500 that he acquired for free doing landscaping. The thing is mint. The interior is mint. I think it's an SLE. It's got all power, everything. It's only a 2-wheel drive, so really kind of an undesirable truck around here. I was going to fix it up and sell it for a profit because he was going to give it to me on the cheap. I believe it's a fueling issue. They're undesirable around here. So I think what I'm going to do now that I acquired this and it's a work truck edition, I'm going to attempt to buy that from him, sell the motor to make my money back, and then use as much as the OEM electrical components, power door locks, power windows, versus getting one of these eBay, Amazon kits. Try to use the factory wiring harness. I mean, I'm just going to take that thing apart, part it out, and see if I can turn a work truck model into an SLE or whatever trim package that is. Let me know if that's interesting. Now someone was clearly in that other door because this was all ripped apart, and I believe that's why water leaked down and didn't come out of the drain holes in the other door. And this is much more pitted up and rusted on the other door. Hopefully it's not beyond my own repair skills, that is. This looks ugly here. This is a horrible, old, torn up speaker cover. But when you put a new one in and put it back together, and the door panel looks stock, and the speaker sounds great, you can't complain. This is just a little locking tab here. It's kind of stiff on the other side, so if you got to use a pair of pliers, do it. Seems like if you press down pretty hard, you can get that little lip out of there, and then it just lifts off the bottom here. I'm actually kind of enjoying talking to the camera. I'm used to just being in my own head. I do love working with music, and it's going to be hard getting used to not being able to listen to music because copyright infringement. So here is the factory speaker cover. The actual metal housing of this speaker, let me see if you can see. The metal housing of this is just glued onto the mount. So I just peeled this off when I was attempting to figure out how I wanted to mount the other speaker, and realized that there was no good way to do it. You can see why this speaker is not working here. There's nothing left to it. Now there is this little damper here on the back, I'm sure for vibration against the door. On the passenger side, I already did this. I did not use anything for that. It's not messing up the sound quality at all. So I don't know if I'm going to spend the time to open it up and put something in there. I do have some stuff for dampening that in the garage. It's a lot thicker than this though. It's not really right fit and finish. We'll see if I come up with something else for this door and then force myself to open up the other door and make it a little better. I'll save this just in case. They tell me tan is positive, gray is negative. I'm gonna double check. My OCD made me check. Tan is positive, gray is negative is what this forum says, and I'm gonna go with it because for some reason these are only putting out AC voltage. I don't know. I put speakers in sometimes at work. I don't know that much about audio, honestly. There's a lot more to it than there seems. Once you start getting into it, it's pretty complicated. Just not that interested in it to find out. Maybe one day. Maybe you guys can show me a good video in the comments. I'm soldering this. I'm soldering these little wiring harnesses that came with it. I could put my own on here, but one of these spade terminals is real narrow to identify positive versus negative, and I don't have any in my kit. Mine are all standard width, so I'm just going to use what they gave me, solder it on. I like this stuff from Harbor Freight. It's marine heat shrink tubing. It's supposed to be waterproof. Who knows? This is what they sent. I gotta get used to showing you stuff on the camera because I don't know what you can see. If you look, the black striped one is negative, and it is also more narrow than the positive. Don't forget to put your heat shrink on ahead of time, or you won't have any heat shrink. It's also easier to strip the insulator after you put that on, but you know. There's plenty of videos on how to solder, so I may fast forward through this. I don't know. I don't even know how to edit, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. But if you want to see it, I'll video it just in case. If I decide not to put it up and you ask for it, then I'll put it back up. Whoever I'm talking to. If anybody watches at all. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. It's the whole point in this thing. I love this Home Depot Weller. It is an angry little, pissed off little soldering iron. The thing gets hot. 2 stages, half a click is high, full click is low. 140 or 100 watts. Another Harbor Freight special. It's nice to have an extension cord and a light all in one. Well, that's a fail. Here goes some clear coat. Keep your soldering iron over the ground, that's a truck. Can't wait to see the harassment I get on here. a little flustered here, not thinking the same as I normally would. So I'm not used to videoing myself or talking to myself. It's pretty weird. This stuff seems to have some kind of a clear goo that comes out of it. Kind of like the beacons use, crimp connectors and electrical for outside. They're usually blue instead of white or yellow. I think that's what makes these marine grades. Some kind of a glue comes out of them when you heat it up. And I like to give these a little bit of extra heat until that glue squeezes out of the end. I think for cars, marine grade is just as important. I don't know. Now, inside to the main part. Alright, so if you look, the other speaker's outer edge was completely flat around this mount here. This speaker has this fold. I'm sure it's for structural integrity, I guess. We're going to remove it anyway because what the hell. So what I want to do, what my initial thought was on the last speaker I did, was I could cut this out, but I like to keep as much material as I can just in case I need to find a different method. This one didn't work, what have you. You have more options at that point. The more you hack off of something, the less options you have in the future for further repair. Sometimes it's not about the mistakes we make, it's about how you go about fixing them. If you stop for a second to think, maybe you won't make the mistake in the first place, but it worked on the passenger side, so I'm going to show you guys what I did on this side. These tabs are open here, so are these, but they still line up anyway. So I did that. That's my bolting location through here. Now, if you look here underneath the screen, there's a recess. So ideally, the bolt doesn't protrude past the surface. We'll use that to our advantage. And the intention, when this is done, is to use those tabs that line up to screw these together. You can see now they're not flush together, and this is the surface of the speaker that goes against the door. Now, if you leave this raised edge here, this rolled edge, this mount won't clip into the door. It just won't happen. You could screw this together just the way it is, but you're not going to get this mount to clip to the door. That's the issue. There is no good way to mount this to the door instead of the door bezel, the cover, whatever you want to call it, versus the door itself. There's no good way to mount it to the door itself. It's actually smaller than the hole this way. So if you leave more material, it leaves more surface area to press against the door between this and the speaker. So anyway, I talk too much. Let's get to it. I just take this, a hammer, an anvil, and flatten all this out. First step. Being sure not to press this soft spot of the speaker against the anvil. So I kind of get a good idea. If I look at the inside of this hole here, I have about 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 between that hole and the soft spot of the speaker here. That is my safety net, and that is what I'll use. Try not to hit the rest of the speaker body as well. not doing it all the way the first time around. I'm just getting it started and double checking that I'm not hurting anything. Alright, now I've got it all started. Now I'm going to work on completely flattening it. I want this edge flat as well, because you can see that would protrude on the back. We need this flat to get this to lock back into place on the door. Starting it like that allowed me to move this surface further away from the anvil, so I have less risk of damaging the speaker that I only spent 35 bucks on. Cross my fingers I don't wake up my son here and I have to stop this video. So now what I did it curled a little bit just from matting that metal down. So I flip it over, tap it a little lighter this direction, try and flatten it out a little bit better. Remove some of that paint. Now flattening this out lengthened these tangs a little bit. So the first screw I put on slightly loose, and then put the other screw on and kind of center them, and then start cinching them down. So let's see here. If this is the door, I want Kenwood. I want the speaker to be upright. Doesn't really matter, but you can try and do the best you can. The lock on this goes up. Gravity holds these tongs in, whatever you want to call them. Now, so that's my orientation. And if you look here, I'll have to flip this over because the screen's in the way. If you look here, you're just not getting them to line back up after you flatten this out. Alright, so tin snips easily cut through this material. So I take the tin snips and I just trim this bottom edge down here, trim this top edge here. Then I can center these tangs back to the location that I'm going to use to mount them on. And while I'm doing this, I'm trying not to press on the speaker. You can see I did a little. That's fine, but there's the top. Trim that down. Leave as much of that other metal on there for surface area to pinch between that and the door as possible. I should probably put that dampening material down, but honestly, not much of this contacts the door surface. Not as much as the other speaker anyway. So that's the top and the bottom. Once you have that done, now you can see you can line up all four, but I'm only going to fasten it from two sides because I go through those Japanese bolts quick and they're 45 bucks a case. You guys can use your own fasteners at your own will and do 4 and tell me that I'm being cheap, but that's what I'm doing. So doesn't matter what direction you put these in. So I just got a little pressure on it, on that one. This way I can spin this around, start this one, and get them centered to get as much surface area underneath of that bolt as possible since it's open-ended. So I'm going to try and center them here, pressing back and forth on either side until I believe each bolt has the same amount of material underneath of it. What can you see? You guys should have told me that. I didn't have the camera aimed properly. So I'm out of my mind. Yep. There's Jack's. Now, let's bring this back out. And I'll just give you a final view. I mean, they're on there. If I ever need to put another one on, I will, but I think it'll be fine. Aftermarket Kenwoods, KFC 1666S. These are 4 ohm. Pause the video and read it. Alright, you're in my way, camera. But you can see here. These are actually labeled negative and positive, and as I said, one spade connector is a different size than the other. So once you've figured out this, you can't get the other side wrong. Now, gravity feed those. Put these in here, and you'll notice something. Those bolts are going to get in the way. So what I have here, I took a 15-30-second drill bit. I mark those bolts with a permanent marker, and then remove some material to get some clearance. I'll just get a red one instead of a black one that I lost, because the truck's red too, and I like red. That magnet away from all these shards. Now, if I went back to factory, that's not going to hurt anything. Minimal hacking, but you go aftermarket, you're going to be hacking. You go stock, you're going to be spending. So, that's just what I came up with on the fly. Hate it or love it. Now you can see the bolts fit in there. Knock that back down. Let's see, what do you guys think? What do you think about the damper material? Maybe I'll do it on this one. Hindsight's 2020. I saved it from the other speaker. It's gonna make this press pretty darn tight, but maybe it'll be quality fit and finish, who knows? My son is playing this crib. So this video is not going to be concluded with this whole door panel being put back together. So that's just how life goes when you have kids. You take all your time to do the best thing that ever happened to you. Ah! Get in there. Alright. That's it. Now, you know what? I was going to put my phone on here, but I'm not going to get any copyright infringement for playing the classical station that my FM transmitter is taking over. Mackenzie, what do you want to listen to?
New Beagle.
All right, you got it.
Let's begin, party on, man.
station's not quality because I purposely picked a fuzzy station. But you can hear the speaker works. The speaker fits on the factory mount, and the factory door panel is going to go back on without any modification other than what I did underneath. Now there's something else. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that video. You can look forward to the near future. Like I said, the boat. I'll probably be putting a new piston in the Suzuki LTR because I don't know how many hours are on that one. You'll definitely see videos of my RM144, but I did just receive a whole bunch of new lights for the truck. I'm sure there's 1,000 videos on that, but maybe I'll do another one, who knows. Thanks guys, appreciate whoever looks at it. I hope that we have some fun in the future. I hope I get better at it. I hope I can keep doing it. I hope I get my kids involved, my family, and that's it, I guess. On the next one. Come here.
Why?
We need a picture. We're gonna get all the views. I need my first what are they called? Thumbnails. Yeah, come on, stand. Yeah, the headlights block you. You know where to put them. I'll take a picture.
Where am I standing though?
Just stand in front of the truck. Face the camera.
Do I have to fix my hair?
First thumbnail, yeah.
Should I
Fix
fluff
that
it?
hair. Fluff it up.
What do
Hottie.
you want me to do?
Cover those boobies. Or take off the shirt. We'll get all the views.
I'm not taking off the shirt.
I'm just kidding. Cover the boobies.
And do what? Smile?
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.